This is just like all of the others. You know, they're sad and tragic.
Ellen, we're live now. If you don't mind going ahead and giving us perhaps a statement on...
I'm sorry?
We're live on Channel 5 now. Can you give us a statement about your thoughts so far?
About what?
Well,
your thoughts on the verdict.
Can you tell us what do you think the jury?
I mean, I think justice was served. I think they were very careful. Obviously, they gave it a lot of thought. It wasn't something that they went back and came out in 10 minutes. They gave it a lot of thought. They went over a lot of the evidence, and I think that they probably returned the only verdict that they could.
There was a runaway car theory, the man cave theory, the concussion, the three-legged stool of theories. Do you think they all didn't sit well with this jury? What do you think happened?
I think it was sort of difficult to think that all three of those things went bad at once, you know, and they were just sort of preposterous. That was all.
What do you think was the key to your winning here? I mean, what do you think was the deciding factor? Was there a deciding factor in your mind?
No, I think it all was. I think that they saw through the defense experts. You know, they just weren't real credible. You know, some of the theories were pretty bizarre.
In a nutshell.
The Bentley, I mean, the malfunction reading that came on that printout, that was after the crash?
That was as a result of the crash. You know, and when we first took that expert's depo, I said, you can't tell me that this car is going to malfunction 3 times before the light comes on and stays on. And I just thought it was really unreasonable. So we eventually looked into it and were able to convince Bentley that they needed to step in and give us info.
In
Yes,
a
ma'am.
nutshell, what happened here and what do you think the jury said today?
I just think that they looked at all of the evidence and listened, you know, remembered back what the testimony was, and I think they just decided that this was just.
What kind of penalty will you be seeking?
At that time, I have not talked with the family. I will talk with the family.
How much influence do you think John Goodman's testimony had on this jury, hearing him in his own words and your cross-examination?
Well, I mean, I think he had to take the stand based on the theory of the defense. I thought he did pretty good. I thought he did real well. I think he was probably coached a little, but I'm sure it had some impact on him. But he had to take the stand. So I'm sure they just considered that with all the rest of the evidence.
What is the message to the community? You know, your office was criticized. It took too long to charge. And remember all that rigmarole? What is the message today, these many years later?
It always takes at least 3 months and usually 6 months to do the investigation. If you sat through the trial, you saw all the complexities. That's not something we can do overnight. And in light of the fact that we have so many crashes in Palm Beach County, it takes a long time to put it all together.
I guess what I'm getting at it, and the culmination of it, the culmination of this now.
Of all the work that we did, I mean, it was, you have to do it. It has to be investigated that way. And if people think that's too long, well, so what? Because there's nothing we can do.
Mr. Goodman's wealth seemed to also be on trial. Do you think that was a prejudicial factor in this case?
No. No, I don't think it's about that. I think it's about driving and when you shouldn't be driving, you know.
Have you looked at the range of sentences on what he scores out?
Yes.
What are they?
I think it's 11 and a half to 30.
11 and a half to 30 based on the conviction that he got?
Correct.
11 at the bottom.
Correct.
And you know what you'll ask for?
I have to talk to the family.
Was there ever a concern with the fact that it's been in the media with him adopting his girlfriend, settling the civil suit, and maybe the jury might have went a little light on him? Was that ever a concern with you?
No. No, I believe in the jury system, you know.
You weren't surprised when he took the stand?
No.
You saw that one coming?
Well, he had to. He basically had to.
Well, what do you say to those people in the jury? Because of the drinking the alcohol and the polo players?
I'm sorry?
So he had to take the stand given that they were saying he drank in the polo players?
He had to take the stand because of all the things they were alleging. You know, even their own expert, well, you'd have to ask the driver that. Well, you know, nobody can answer that question but him, so he sort of like had to take the stand.
Why do you think they didn't call their own toxicologist?
I have no idea. They had one. I have no idea.
What do you say to those jurors that came down with that verdict? What do you say to them?
Thank you for seeing that justice was done.
In all the years you've done this, Ellen, is there a different takeaway after having been so close to the Wilson family and seeing how this played out?
No, to be honest with you, this is no different from, Paul the plumber.
Any different with Roy Black going up against it?
No. They were a pleasure to deal with. They were very professional, and we had no issues. We agreed on a lot of things and litigated the others.
Ellen, for someone who did not follow this trial gavel to gavel, can you tell us in a nutshell what happened that night in just a few sentences?
He had been partying and celebrating something. He had too much to drink. He got in his car, and for whatever reason, he went past his house. He blew through that stop sign and hit this young man that was going home to his family. And he literally pushed that little car into the canal, and then he just simply walked away. That was it. And when he got to a phone, he didn't call 911.
And the defense made a big deal about the number of drinks. They're saying it was impossible that he could have had that many drinks, basically even on the blood alcohol level, 3 hours. I mean, do you think the jurors were able to overcome that? I mean, and the defense said you guys were playing fast and loose with the facts when it came to the number of drinks, but people didn't seem to drink more than 3 hours.
And I understand that. And if you're in a crowd of 200 people, are you going to keep your eye on one person to see how much he has to drink? I don't think so. And, they were friends, and they didn't see him drink. So how can you say? But, the evidence, the scientific evidence is what it is. There's no disputing that.
We didn't have to prove how many drinks he had. We didn't have to prove where he got the alcohol.
Because of the blood alcohol level 3 hours after the crash, correct?
Correct. One of the elements wasn't where he drank it.
I was going to ask Sherry, a few days ago you said you were confident justice would be served in this case. Can you give us some of your thoughts on how all this played out today?
Well, clearly this case wasn't about money. This case wasn't about David versus Goliath. This case was about the facts. And the facts that occurred on that night that were seen by the investigators, the statements that he made that night, just pointed to only one verdict. And we were very thankful that the jury was able to see through what was trying to be thrown up as reasonable doubt and to see the evidence for what it was.
How surprised were you when you heard the defendant?
And as you watch Ellen Roberts, the lead prosecuting attorney in this case against John Goodman, along with Assistant Attorney Sherry Collins, holding their news conference after their big victory today in court,